From the initial view of what you can see of this explosion, what do you think caused it, possibly?
It's once again society not learning from its own mistakes. For hundreds of years, there's been these situations where too much ammonium nitrate has been kept in the same place at the same time. It's a very powerful oxidant, and in the presence of any sort of fire, it has the capacity to effectively self-detonate, which is precisely what happened.
And this was apparently ammonium nitrate stored on site, having been taken off a boat some years ago. So it is the lack of ability to remove this stuff and put it somewhere safe that's caused this ultimately.
Yes, it's quite a curiosity, because if you have a certain amount of it, it can do things that it can't do in smaller amounts. It was used as an explosive by the IRA during the Troubles, as something called ANFO, which is ammonium nitrate fuel oil. And we need to differentiate between a fire and a detonation. This started with the fire that you saw with the red smoke, and the red smoke is nitrogen dioxide, one of the decomposition products. And at some point, the ammonium nitrate itself, it decomposed, and it produces lots and lots of nitrogen and oxygen, and gases expand, and that's where you saw that terrible, terrible pressure wave. It's very similar to the airbag in your car, which is sodium azide, again, a nitrogen-containing compound that suddenly goes from being a small solid to a huge amount of gas.
There are various people speculating about just how powerful this blast was. Certainly on the Richter scale, registering at something like 4.5, and there were plenty of people suggesting that it was, only really slightly smaller than a nuclear bomb, something like that went off in Hiroshima, for example. What's the damage on the air, the surrounding environment, from an explosion of that stuff, of that scale?
Okay, well, as you probably saw, you saw this big white ball of what looked like condensation, and that's not unlike the kind of clouds you often see above aircraft wings. It's effectively a supersonic detonation with a shock wave that goes effectively faster than sound. And on some of the footage you saw the fire, you saw the explosion, you saw the ball, and then you could almost see the shock wave rushing towards the viewer.
And that's the most astonishing thing. You can actually almost see, and I don't know whether this actually happens, maybe it's a trick of the eye, but the clouds above the explosion just sort of parting as that shock wave goes through the air and then hits the car or the building or whatever it is somebody's filming in. I guess after an explosion of that size and that ferocity, unfortunately, it looks like we're going to be talking potentially about many more casualties.
Without a doubt. I mean, the last number that I heard was 100. The hospitals are full of casualties with flying glass because all the windows blow out. So it's a major, major thing. But again, it's all to do with storing too much ammonium nitrate in the same place at the same time.